Right. We'll call to order the meeting of the Fairfield Public Library Board of Trustees at 7:04 p.m. on April 7th. Our first item of business is the roll call. So, May Bayer,
Present.
Stephanie Broussari,
Present.
Aaron Harrigan,
Present.
John Capasso,
Present.
Peter Wilner. And Peter is not here, but we'll update that if he does attend. All right, moving on to the next item of business. Public comment. It appears doesn't seem to be any in the room nor on the call. So with that, we'll move to the approval of minutes. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review. Any edits needed for to call out here? Stephanie, let's hear.
A few typos. Line 8, section 8C, line 2. The adults only will be. Section 9A, line 1. Should have strike the word is from she is spoke. Section 11A, lines 1 and 4. Ms. Borsari, not Mr. 12A, I wanted to ask about. Can we specify, it's the section about trustees. The trustee, I don't know where it is now. It's such a new trustee search process. We had a lot of discussion about it. Is the right language to say in 12A, instead of have a person in place by the July 2025 meeting to fill Ms. Borsari's position, is it more to fill the position currently held by Ms. Borsari, since I'm a filler? Yeah. Okay. And then I wasn't exactly sure what we meant in this case when we say a small committee will be appointed to review the resumes and speak with potential candidates. I can't remember if there's another position that expires.
No, that's in preparation for, it's really for next year when you'll be filling my position.
Do we need to specify that at all? I don't know.
No, in fact, I would leave it in there just so that they're aware that this is the process with which we're
Right.
going through. Obviously, we know that the plan is to renominate you, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that, I think it's fine to keep it as is, because this is what we'll be doing as the process moving forward.
Okay. Do you agree, though, Andrew, because I wasn't looking, about new language to fill position currently held by Ms. Broussard?
Yeah, I'm fine with that edit, May, if you want to make that change.
Okay. Thank you.
I got one other minor one. Are you done?
Yeah.
Reminder, the last part, the date of the next location should be April 7th.
Yeah.
Sorry. Saying the next meeting on the final page?
Yeah, at the bottom of the minutes from March, the second to last line. April 7th.
Thank you.
Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Andy.
So a quite split meeting. This is the most we've had on Zoom, I think. Of course, it's when I'm on Zoom. So you can just revise that Peter is in attendance. All right, with those edits, somebody want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion. I move that the Library Board of Trustees approves the meeting minutes for the March meeting.
Second?
A second.
All in favor? All right. So moved. Well, with that, we move into the chairman's report. I will keep it very brief since I am not in the room. Lots of exciting things over the past month. Been a busy month for, I'm sure, everyone. But no, I know there's a lot this past weekend, especially. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. But yeah, we'll move on then to library updates.
So March was a busy month for the library. Our One Book, One Town author event was a huge success and continues to receive praise. We finished and have selected a new ILS system, which we hope to get going in July and August. And lastly, the other thing I want to highlight is this was kind of fell in our lap. The Arts Commission for the town, the newly formed Arts Commission, they had a artistic vision challenge, which was for high school students. We were able to use the temporary walls that the trustees had purchased for us a few months ago, set them up in the new book area, and we actually got to display about 12, 13 pieces of art from high school students. It was really great. It got a lot of traffic in the door. People were really excited. And then you'll hear next month's report how they had like an award ceremony. We had 75 people. It was amazing. And this was really just we have a great relationship with the economic development department in the town. And they were the ones who called us and said, hey, could you help us out with this? And I was really proud of the library, how quickly we kind of got everything up and running and how great it looked. But what I really want to highlight is visits. The last two board reports I've said that we've started to see our visitor numbers soften a little bit. Only like a 2% increase in Woods and actually a negative number here at Maine. But the door count for March increased by 10%, 3,000 extra visits than March of last year. Both the branch and main library saw a comparable 10% increase. The main library experienced significant traffic on Tuesday mornings, which may be attributed to a combination of tax preparation and story times. There's also considerable traffic on Friday mornings, which may be due to our Sing Me a Story Time. We also observed notable traffic from 3 to 5 p.m. on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. We have no real explanation for that. I think some of that just may be the number of teens that we now have coming in the door. Woods also saw increased traffic on Tuesday and Thursday mornings, wobbly walkers and baby rhyme time. See the theme that's happening here. But they've also experienced significant traffic at 4 p.m. and onwards. And this is daily, including weekends. So again, I think that really has to do with the teen department. We added a teen librarian there. I think they're attracting more people in the door. So that's, really pretty much it. I just think I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of traffic that we got in March. Like Jan heard me yell in my office. I was like, what's going on? Other than that, building wise, everything's good. We didn't really have to put in a lot of work orders this past month. Only had 2 incident reports for 3. The Woods branch got slimed. And the patio is about 3/4 of the way done. We moved the tree to the Parks Department. We have all the pavers down. Now we're just waiting for the furniture to come in and be. But I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited about Make Music Day in June, because that was kind of that was kind of what gave me the idea to change the patio. And now we have a lot more outdoor space to do things. So, right outside the window. And I'm hoping to talk the friends into doing one of their book sales with a big tent. That would be really fun.
Scott, one thing on 10 is just, we do, where I work, we do shipping days. Kind of same thing. Last year was a holiday in March. I wonder.
Oh, I wonder
if that was you doing Easter was in March.
Oh, Easter was, but it was Sunday.
Oh, it was Sunday break Friday.
Yeah, wonder. And we did have to close.
We'll see what happens in April.
We'll see what happens in April. I think 10%, I could see if that was like a 3% drop,
Yeah.
but a 10% increase.
Right.
Yeah, I think but it's interesting to look at. Maybe we'll break down visits per hour and average it out by that.
Do you have a counter for the team?
Yes. Yeah, we put in a counter for the teen room. I can actually look at those stats as well. Not at Woods. We don't have a counter in the down under, but we have a counter in the teen room here. But I'll look at those stats as well.
Yeah, I think spring break.
It was different.
March last year, and it's April this year.
No, not for,
Oh, no, it's just this.
no,
No.
it's April.
Yeah, April public school goes to April. College
Private,
was spring break.
yeah, private different, but.
Yeah, I think it was, they had the
April.
Monday off last year. And that was-
Can I say something about upcoming? If you haven't ever seen it, the Peeps diorama display at Fairfield Woods, which will be, they'll be on display April 12th through the 22nd, but it's a program that they do where the teens make a scene out of Peeps. And it's incredible creativity and they're really fun to see. So if you get a chance to go over there, I recommend it.
And I'd like to ask about the staffing and human resources section.
Yes.
It was a topic of conversation last month, and I think I want to understand if the town is taking you seriously more, maybe this month than last.
I'm hoping they are, but we have not actually heard a peep from them. We still can't see. We were told that soon we'd be able to see what PTO we had balances. And you know, I get it. If we were a 9 to 5 operation with 5 people in our office, I can understand where they're expecting us to keep accurate track of our own time. I don't think we should have to if we have an HR department. But for here, I get, you know what I mean? It's like I get a sick kid, I run out the door. You know, it's like I can't, you know, people are planning their vacations and no one's sure, yeah, they can do their own back of the envelope calculation, but no one's sure if that's accurate. And you should be able to rely on your pay stub telling you how many hours you have to take. So I have not heard a peep from HR about this, but I will tell you that when I signed into Paycom just the other day, look, I could not see my accrued time.
About the W-2 forms.
Those finally got,
I mean, do you all
Correct,
have
we
them in time to
believe.
do your taxes?
some people got a third edition of it, but yeah.
Yeah, everybody, I mean,
I hope they're right.
yeah, and people were, you know, staff said to me, they didn't want to make an appointment with their CPA until they got the corrected form, but we didn't know when that form was coming. So,
It's not just us, it's the entire
Entire
town.
Yeah.
Any change at all? Like I said, I did reach.
and I've not heard it, like I said, not a peep from HR. And I know we're supposed to start testing, some of our staff are gonna be guinea pigs for the clocking in. But we haven't heard anything about that either, because you're one of them. So, I don't know. You know, I understand the town is busy with budget, so I completely get that. You know, this is an HR department that's more than double the size it was when I came on board 3 years ago. And, you know, this has really been a big hit to morale for our staff. I can imagine the staff across the
That's
town.
your whole time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I reached out and.
Yeah,
I
thank
don't know if there's anyone in particular, because I know the person got hold of the people in Stanford that are running it.
Yeah.
Paycom.
I'm hoping that all kind of nudges things in a better direction, but we'll see. I mean, I think it comes down to the town's HR department.
Thanks.
Budget update, our budget's moved through, you know, it's a 3 or 4% increase. Jan and I are going to the RTM meeting Wednesday. We have not been told to have any concerns. I was gonna go to the finance board vote, but, you know, talked to the COO and he said, really, I'll text you if I think anything's gonna come up, and nothing came up. So we're in pretty good shape, and probably the big change out of that is that will allow us to be open additional hours on Saturday, which I know is coming. And then strategic framework, our next board meeting will start an hour earlier. We're gonna do like a half an hour meeting. We're gonna do like a quick, I won't talk, I promise. Like cut the meeting in half. And then you'll be meeting with our consultant who's doing the strategic plan to kind of do a brainstorming session with Morgan. Okay?
6 o'clock meeting?
Andrew and I still have to figure out the time. We want to start a little earlier, so we're not here super.
Yep.
And we'll change the meeting so that it'll be here and not at
Yes.
Woods. Okay.
Yep,
It was supposed to be at Woods?
Yeah.
I think so,
I
yeah.
thought it was supposed to be at Woods in June.
I think we were at Woods last month, so.
Oh, no, yeah,
Aren't we meeting in June?
June.
Yeah, but next month.
At
is
Woods.
May.
Yeah, but we might have bumped it over because our annual meeting's in July.
I'm sorry, when are we doing the,
June.
right, and our June meeting is supposed to be,
Yep.
yeah, so can we do it here?
Yes, we can move it.
Oh, I thought you were talking about you're gonna meet at the May meeting with the trip. I thought when you said
No,
next.
I'm sorry. Oh, it's the June meeting, correct? Yeah.
I don't know.
This would say at the week it is, never mind what month.
Not May, then June?
I believe so. I will get back to. I'd say I'm done, Andrew.
All right. It's tough to tell when I'm on Zoom. Okay. So now we'll move into the policy review for the bulletin board and handout policy. There were notes in the packet. I don't know if you want to voice anything over, Scott.
No, it's just in the packet for the board to review. I don't see any substantive changes coming. But it's good for you all to review before we vote.
It's too bad we don't have room on the bulletin board to post this.
You don't need to post the policies. We are the signs.
You are the policies.
You are the policies.
Scott, is that, I mean, is there anything you or the staff is seeing with regards to the bulletin board that has
I have to,
raised
I have
issues?
no issues, and I have to say it's the best. I actually bragged to the class I teach, and a lot of this has to do with Virginia here and Sharon at Woods. These are the best kept public bulletin boards of any library I've ever run. They are meticulous, they are clean, and they definitely follow the process and procedure. So I don't want to change things too much just because they seem to be doing a great job of it, and I think it's important. I look at that bulletin board to see what's going on in town. I think a lot of people do, and I think it's a great way to communicate.
Great. All right. Moving on into our committee and liaison reports. We'll start with the fundraising committee. So Stephanie, you want to provide an update?
Yes, I met last week, I guess, was it April 1st, with Jan and with Scott. I will say that it was really an information gathering session for me. I was the only one who was able to make that time, and since Scott had put aside that time for us, I went ahead with the permission of May and Peter. There's not much to update. There's no immediate recommendations, certainly, that I'm going to make without talking with Peter and May first. So I think what we'll do is schedule another meeting, if that's all right, Scott and Jan, to kind of continue the information gathering. And of course, consulting calendars, Peter, May, Stephanie, hoping that all three of us together can have that meeting. We did that by Zoom.
Thanks, Stephanie. Sorry for the scheduling difficulties this week. I'll look out email from you for next steps.
One of the things that we did talk about was the different types of money that are in the fund. So different funds, the ones that are invested and the ones that are not yet invested, ones that are not appropriate to be invested. So I did add a sheet to the packet that has everything all together, and it's all of the revolving fund, which I'm really happy to finally have all together on one piece of paper. And so that's in the sheet, and I did email it just shortly before the meeting.
Thank you, Jan. So is that one of the ones that's printed out, or?
It's
Yeah, okay. Thank
It
you.
doesn't have a heading on it, I'm sorry.
That's great. That's all. from fundraising, unless Peter or May has something to add.
I don't know if you can use the word investment these days.
We're not to the treasurer's update. All right, so building committee, Scott, thank you for sending that email to Eli. All right, that's where it got twisted up. I didn't see a response from him. I don't know if
His response was give him a couple weeks. He actually stopped me in the hallway the other day, said, give him a couple weeks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reach out to some of my colleagues and see if they have any RFPs or just at least a description for scope of work. He was very happy when I said that to him. So let's give him another week. Let's get the town budget passed, then we'll go from there. But I think, and if you can reach out to a previous library and see if they had, an RFP that they did for a scope of work, that would be great, because I'd like to see, from all over the place.
yeah, that would be helpful. That would be very helpful. Yeah, John, if that's something you have the ability to do, that would be appreciated.
I'll reach out. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. And then finally, the Friends update. Mike.
Thank you, Andrew. Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. I'm going to give you some hot off the presses numbers about our fabulous mini golf weekend. You'll recall that Saturday night was our very first ever adult mini golf, or as I like to call it, mini golf after dark. And Sunday was our traditional family mini golf. So these numbers just came in. Okay, so Saturday night, we had a total of 66 attendees. It was a fabulous event. Stephanie, you were there.
It was a
Can you
fabulous
back me
event.
up on this?
It was a fabulous
Yeah.
event.
So
It really was.
the big distinction was we had an open bar. We had food all over the place. And we had a lot of people having a great time. So that was a big hit. And keep in mind, this is our first time doing it. So we were pleased with the response, and we're really happy with how people are talking about it online, and a lot of great Instagram posts and whatnot. So people are already talking about next year. So we're thrilled about that. Sunday, we had 50 to 60 people waiting at the door Sunday at 10 a.m. to get in with their kids. We had a total of about 500 people who attended throughout the day. And I can give you the number breakdown in total. So sponsorships brought in 5,650. Saturday night's admission was 4,290. Sunday's admission was 2,451. Saturday night raffle was 370. The Sunday raffle was $752 for a grand total of 13,513. Subtract expenses, we're going to do a little over $10,000. So we're very happy with the response, and we're looking forward to next year. And we gained a lot of knowledge. We're going to debrief a little bit about it, what we can do better, how can we improve it, and just immense thanks to Scott and Philip and everyone else at the library. They really did a great job welcoming people in, making sure everything was smoothly. I'm so grateful to Danielle Sharp for really being the driving force of this event. So many of our board members were there to help and support, but if not for Danielle's drive and her energy and her just effervescent personality, it really creates an event that everyone gets behind and supports. And we had some town volunteers to really help as well, spreading the news, getting friends there and whatnot. So this is a real collaborative event that goes well beyond just the board, and it really extends out into the community. So when I see people in the community getting involved in supporting this library, it really makes me feel good about what we're doing with the Friends Board here with the trustees. So that's mini golf. Jennifer Butler Fashion Show is, as always, a great event. Big success. We're going to do about just under $2,000 for the fashion show. That's very enjoyable. If you haven't had a chance to visit the Kirshner Gallery right now, it's a really, really wonderful photography exhibit. There's an opening reception on Thursday. Is the 10th Thursday?
Yep.
Yeah. If you can, swing by, meet the artist, take a look at these great photos, and it's incredible. these nature shots of the animal shots. It's just fabulous. So take a look at that. I think our library shows are always great, but this in particular is a little different and it really stands out. So I think anyone that either wanders into the gallery or attends the reception or comes by and takes a look, has heard about it, they're going to be really amazed at what the gallery's doing. So happy about that. The hell else we've been doing?
Feel like there's too much to
Too
list.
much. Yeah. Literary lunch is coming up. We're looking forward to that. That's always a great event. We're talking about different things coming up. We'd like to do another comedy event in the fall. Food truck festivals on the schedule. There's some other things that I'll fill you in as we go. One a little more serious type thing. The Friends Board is generally politically agnostic.
May I have your attention, please? The library will be closing in 30 minutes. If you need a library card or special assistance, please come to the circulation desk now. Just a reminder, the Wi-Fi will shut down in 15 minutes at 7:45.
But we were all very concerned to hear the news that the federal government is going to be eliminating the funding to the Institute of Museum and Library Services. This is a very small and little-known branch of the federal government. It funds low-income communities with libraries. It allows these libraries to stay open in many cases. We are fortunate to have a well-funded popular library, but we rely on the IMLS for things like data, development ideas, spotting trends within the library industry. Scott relies on them for many things. I'm going to be writing up an op-ed that aligns with the American Library Association's feelings about the elimination of this agency and calling for Congress, ideally, to reinstate this. So I have a draft ready to go. I'm going to show it to Scott, and then if anyone wants to join on in support of it, we'll send it out and we'll hopefully get some traction and whatnot. But like I said, we don't really dive into politics all that much, but this hit close to home, and there are some real negative impacts upon so many libraries out there that rely on some of this funding. So I think at the very least we can at least express our support for the IMLS going forward. So thank you. That's it.
Can you tell me the name of the photographer again? I didn't catch it.
Ridiculous.
Tomas Koek,
Oh, I thought you said something. on the text.
Koeck,
Sorry, say loud.
Koeck.
Thank you.
And I was keeping an eye on all the photographs as everyone was drinking in the gallery on Saturday night. So
No red wine?
no problems.
I think one trustee had a really good golf game.
Okay.
Few holes in one.
3, let's be clear. 3 holes in one. It was a really good time. I just want to tell you guys, like, my husband came with me and commented, I can't remember the last time I have been in this library, and I have never been to any of the other sections but the kids section.
Yeah.
So
That's a good point.
next year, I promise, if you do it again, I will be sending out to everybody. I had sent out to a couple of people to come and they couldn't, but I will be much, much broader. It was a really good time, great music. Every time you turn the corner, there was another platter of food that had been donated. Everybody was in good humor. It was a really, congratulations. It was a really good time.
Yeah, I think
Same for the adults as it was kids.
No, we kept the course on the first, this was my concern, we kept the course on the first floor.
For the adults.
For the adults and did an extra hole in the periodical section.
Okay.
So there was no going up into children's because I didn't want to find like a half-drank wine glass
For the next
the
morning.
next day. But I think it worked really smooth that way. I don't know. I think we might have had a few injuries if they were going up and down the
Oh,
stairs.
wow. Okay.
So, yeah. I hope next year we keep it to just the first floor, because I also don't know how I'm gonna run music upstairs. So that'd be a challenge.
No, I think between comedy and these night events are challenging people's expectations of what a library can do. So we're happy to do that.
Absolutely. No, they're fantastic. This is really great, Mike. And yeah, unfortunately, it was my son's birthday party that night. Joy of spending an evening with 11, 10, and 11-year-old boys.
I had more fun than you did, Andrew.
You had a lot more fun than I did, Stephanie. A lot more fun. Oh man. All right. Well, thank you, Mike, and yeah, for everything you guys do and continue to expand on. I think that's a really great piece of this is what you just said there at the end of, changing everyone's concept of what a library can be to the community. So thank you. All right, we'll move on to the treasurer's report, which this should be a fun one. Or maybe
Well,
the last one that's whatever.
I was like, March isn't too bad. I think the April report is gonna be the one that,
Yeah, next month will be interesting.
yeah, I mean, I guess what happened in March, we raised any gains between in the first 3 months, so we were up a little at the end of February, so now flat to year end as the endowment is at the end of March. So really, again, we're gonna, hopefully it won't be as bad as some of us might expect, but we'll see where this takes us at the end of April. But my update is, as we talked about last time, I reached back out to our advisors as they sent me all the paperwork to fill out for this new account. And there's a lot of paperwork to fill out. And so I started thinking, is there another option? And just before we go through with this again, for opening this account that's specific for the $300,000 plus, that's for the large print, or audiobooks, whatever it may be, there really isn't. So actually, Friday today, I started going through the paperwork, and I just need to get someone, to be honest, on the phone with me, walking through this. It's just a lot to go through, and rather than take a shot at filling it out and having to revise it, I'd rather just get someone on the phone with me for 20 minutes to walk through this. Andrew, I'll need you to sign a lot of this, but I'll loop you in as well. So I feel like I'm moving at snail's pace with this, but hopefully, we'll get that open soon and can get those funds in.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, if you need me to hop on any of those calls, just let me know, Aaron.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. With that, we'll move on to the reconciliations and check registry. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I do have one question, just trying to follow this transfer. That go,
So that was a residual, the end of the estate, the Simcoe estate, last check that we got. So I can't deposit directly into the money market, so I deposit in the checking account and then under Aaron's instructions, put it over into the money market.
gotcha, that's where it goes around.
And then the report, the expenditures by account, that's because it's impossible to, as far as I can tell, get the accounts onto the reconciliation report. So you have been asking for something that shows what those expenditures that were reconciled were for. So this will be monthly.
Thanks for doing that, Jim.
Any other questions, comments?
Mhm.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor? All right. The check registry and reconciliation has been approved. All right, moving on to old business. The collection development policy. So Scott, we discussed some of this last month with regards. So as people have gone through taking a look, any feedback on the edits on the where we
There's no edits yet. I'm asking for you all to hold off another month. We
Okay.
were just super busy last month, so getting a committee of people together to review this policy was not easy. This month's gonna be a little tricky too, but we would really like to kind of have the staff do a run through of it first. So you got another month to get yourself familiar with this policy, and then we'll come back with the edits next month, and we don't vote on it until July. It is what it is, but this is really, I can tell you that collection development policies, as we learned, are really important. They're now state mandated, and we just want to make sure we get it.
when Scott, when did they become state mandated?
Last year, so that was SB 2.
Okay.
So you cannot receive I mean, it's really not a lot of money, but you can't receive any money from the state library unless you have a collection, which I thought was brilliant. I mean, of course, we've had this one forever. That was more a response to other libraries in the state that don't have them. But as we learned when we had our really contentious book challenge, having a clear policy really empowers trustees and staff to feel secure in the decisions.
God, knowing that this month is going to be, do we keep it on as old business for next month and just push again?
Yeah, like I said, we should have some staff suggested edits by the next meeting, and then we can have a good substantive conversation then.
Okay. That works. All right. We'll move into new business. First, the 2026 schedule of service. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to take a look. Any questions regarding when the library will be closed in fiscal year 26?
So the years are off as you get into 20, where it says 2024, should be 2026, but I believe the dates are correct. Sorry.
Oh, I totally spaced.
2025.
Christmas is still in 2025.
25 and then 20, everything in January is gonna be 26. January on.
Okay.
Correct.
Is this consistent as the number of days that we've had in front of you?
Pretty much. Like every other year, we end up doing an extra. So all the day, most of the week, so the library can decide if it's open on weekends or closed on weekends and evenings. So in other words, when it comes to 9 to 5 during the week, that's all contract negotiated. So we add 2 or 3 days every year. And that's only on major holidays, like this year, we're asking to do it on July 4th. To a long weekend, because we're gonna have hard time staffing, and we're not gonna get that much traffic. Can't imagine us getting a ton of traffic. You know, we've done Memorial Day and Labor Day weekend as 3-day weekends for the last 2 years. I've yet to hear a complaint about that. And I think July 4th, I mean, it is my second favorite holiday. I think it's an important holiday, and I think people go
What's your first?
Halloween. I think we should. What was that?
Is it Thursday?
There's a July 4th
Yeah.
Sunday. So yeah, I will go through and
Yeah, I was gonna say.
fix the document and then you guys can vote on it next meeting. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
July 4th is Thursday?
I thought we voted.
I
July
thought
4th.
it was a Friday.
No, it is a Friday. July 4th is a, yes.
Yeah, and Christmas is off and New Year's.
Yeah.
It's July 3rd.
We'll go through and we'll fix that.
All right. And our final item is the charter revision. So this was, we had conversation around. So it's, Scott, do you want to speak to the, God, I hate this.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, I don't think this is the final language. I'm sure they're gonna come back to us with a change. But this is the closest we could get in, for me at least, in wording and how we've kind of been operating for the last few years. And I think they're open to that. I mean, we've got a good, clean audit from the town, following kind of this process. What I don't want to see is what's in the current town charter, which is we just hand over whatever, well, this year it may not matter, but we hand over whatever money, we've made to them, and then it really makes it seem as if they could say, well, here's some capital improvements we did, so we're taking the money, and it's just, I would like the trustees to have a little bit more control, like you have all done the last 3 years. I think this was written before a board had a policy and a budget. I think this is saying, the trustees should really be in control of their funds. And then I know one of the big things that they want to make sure is.
And attention please, the library will be closing in 15 minutes. Please check out all material now.
So the big thing that I think the town would really like to see us is for us to follow their procurement policy more. So that's why there's a certain amount of money that it's like, okay, once it's a project over 10,000 or whatever the threshold is, 7,500, then it will go, then it will be something that we will have to follow the town's purchasing policy. So, I think that's, I actually agree with that. I think it's smart to kind of follow the same procedure that we do with the town.
Yeah, I think my big thing with that, I'm fine following the same procedure. It's those situations where it's like, with the website redesign, where we went kind of on our own as they were doing the redesign and they weren't happy about that. So just still being able to seems like this still gives us our autonomy in that. So that's good. The only other thing, Scott, I wanted to just, maybe this one, just you and I go back and forth, is that transition. If we do a 3-year term, the interim transition plan that we went over.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. I tried to do it.
That's almost just one we just got to sit down and like look at a calendar.
Yeah, we definitely need to plan that
out. But yeah, I think that's how have the conversations been going around that?
I mean, they're open to changing that language. If we bring
I'm sorry, general, like what you're hearing about the charter revision stuff.
They've already agreed to do that part.
Yep.
So we're there with everything except for this last piece. So
great.
3, I mean, the change in terms to 3 years will definitely be, if this goes to vote, will definitely be. How it's handled, I don't know if the libraries, I think probably what they will do is it will be separate sections of the charter that will be voted on. Last year they tried to do the whole thing, and that the big pushback was where there were things people agreed with, people didn't agree with. So I'd make a $5 bet that it'll be separated out in sections to be voted on, but that will definitely be in.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So probably do something if we'll just have to figure that out timing wise, since that is old language. All right.
On these, when we get these handouts, is there a way to get a clean version also?
Yeah. Like a clean of the new version.
Yeah. This isn't so bad, but the last one.
Was it?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Okay.
What does this mean, or by state standards, does this kind of clear up that problem that when the state gives us money and the statutes say it can only be used by the library and the town takes it, this fixes that?
I heard you loud and clear
I would be so happy.
every few months.
I've been crusading for that for years.
Yeah. Great. All right. One other thing I did want to mention, we didn't include it on this one, but next month we will have discussion around our new trustee, such that we can have that in play. The idea being vote on it in May, so that we have the opportunity to get that the new trustee either discussed in May and then vote in June, or ideally vote in May, so as to give enough time to have them approved by the Board of Selectmen. But other than that, we have reached the end of our agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, we have a second.
Motion.
All in favor? All right. With that, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:50 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you. Hey.
Someday.